I believe that AI ethics matter not only because it's the right thing to do, so from an ethical standpoint, but also from a point of view of society as a whole and also of companies, so from an economic point of view. Because AI solutions, AI systems will not work without ethical standards. So I believe both from the ethics side as well as from the economic and societal side, AI ethics matters. I think it's wrong to see AI as a tool for an all-purpose tool, basically, with which you can solve any problem. Uh, I believe AI can be valuable in a lot of problems and societal aspects, but at least for a long time to come, AI will be valuable mostly as something that supports human beings in performing certain tasks. This is difficult to say because, well, what is important may depend on where you live, for example. And in some regions of the world, other questions may be more pressing than in others, such as the data privacy problems. They are more pressing for some than for others. But in general, I believe a very important aspect is the accountability aspect. And I think it's also maybe the most important one for the moment in order to move AI forward. If companies have a clear idea about what accountability for AI systems and their results means, then they will be more eager to implement them. Well, of course, a lot of people should be involved. The standard answer to this is you need to ask the people, the technical people developing AI. You need to have politics involved. You need to have NGOs involved, and I'm totally fine with that. I agree with that. However, I think there is also currently a mistake, at least sometimes being made, in involving basically everyone. And in German, we have this saying, zu viele Köche verderben den Brei. So if you have too many cooks there, you won't get a good meal. And sometimes I feel that is already the case. So what I believe is more important now is to involve interdisciplinary teams in the development of AI systems. And interdisciplinary means, in this context, both with technical skills as well as non-technical skills from ethics, from social sciences, and others. I believe ethics and governance is key to implementing AI, especially for companies, but also governmental institutions. But in contrast to other things that companies are doing, you cannot produce the ethics purely in-house. This is a misconception that is beginning to be recognized by major companies. You need to involve external actors without specifying in detail what this means, but external actors in the development of your AI ethics standards, but also the AI ethics that flows into the development of your concrete systems. So I think there is an important role for academia and other research institutions to be played here, as well as other external actors. Yeah, originally, some years ago, AI was thought of just as a branch of computer science. And I think that's a fundamental misconception that has been recognized, at least by some by now, except for the traditional AI researchers maybe. But AI is a technology that is quite different from other technology and technological waves that we have seen. Um, why? Well, there are some aspects here. We're just briefly saying that the black box character of AI is something that is perceived often as a threat. For example, um, there are other aspects such as you don't necessarily need very technical skills to develop AI, which is quite in contrast to other technologies. And the third aspect, I think, is that in many problems that companies and others face in implementing AI, the important problems are not so much technical ones, but rather, in the broad sense, ethical ones or governance ones. Should we program the system in this way rather than in that way? Well, we could do both. It's not so much of a technological problem. Um, one could also say they are intertwined. The technical problems and the ethical problems are really intertwined. You cannot really separate them anymore, and that's why you need to have interdisciplinary teams. Yeah, first of all, it's important to see that AI is a global challenge, and so is AI ethics. So it does not really make much sense to work just as a local or even national or regional research institute on these matters. So that's why we have formed the Global AI Ethics Consortium. It has started as a network of institutions dealing with responsible AI in the fight against COVID. It will be expanded to include other questions of AI in health, but also beyond that. So what we seek to offer is guidance to many other institutions about these issues around the world, and but guidance in the way that we do the research in collaboration with our other consortium partners around the world. And it's important to see that we are still looking for new partners for them. Especially in those regions of the world which are maybe still underrepresented, and the RAIN, or the Research on AI Network in Africa, is one of these initiatives. So I think it's important to also reach out to those institutions and research centers that are working in parts of the world which may not be the first ones on your radar when it comes to AI. But however, when you look more closely, it is very, very interesting to see that there's a lot of work already being done, and that people are also looking for guidance when it comes to AI ethics. Well, I think it would be foolish to say we as humans will go unchanged by the technology. We have learned to adapt to other technological waves as well. So certainly, people tend to speak differently. For example, when they have an Alexa or other digital assistants in their home, um, as well as the use of navigation tools with AI built in, there changes, for example, driving behavior and others. So I think it's hard to say there is the one way in which AI is changing humans. But I think the effects of that will only be noticed over a while, and I think it's too early to say what exactly the extent will be. So during the last year, the AI has been consolidated to a large degree. We have now more than 40 researchers working in our projects. We have a highly international team with graduate students and others coming to us from all over the world, actually. Which is a very good sign. We have now research groups and research clusters in a number of important areas. We will expand these areas. We will open up new ones. We also are looking for new partnerships with other players. For example, we have recently signed one of these partnerships with the company Celonis and others as well. So what we are looking for is here to strengthen these topics, as well as collaborating with other major institutions which are now being opened up around the world, such as in Oxford and others. We are establishing more and more links with the Global AI Ethics Consortium and others. And eventually, in June 21, we will hold the Responsible AI Forum as a major new international conference here in Munich. And there we would like to invite you all those who are listening, and researchers and graduate students and others from around the world.